The IBS Audio Program 100 is a program specifically developed for irritable bowel syndrome. Not only does it deal with the physical symptoms of IBS, but also deals with the emotional aspects of IBS. This all started in 1991 when 3 women came to my practice at the medical centre asking for help with their irritable bowel syndrome symptoms. There wasn't anything on the market at the time to help them. Very few therapists understood IBS. So I recognised that there was a real need to produce something to help people, not only that could come to the medical centre, but also perhaps to help people to use it at home. The IBS Audio Program 100 is a hypnotherapy program. It uses hypnosis, which is an altered state of consciousness. It's safe, it's gentle. Many doctors have been referring people for my services for many years. Since the 1980s, IBS has responded or been shown to respond extremely favourably to hypnotherapy. In fact, now in the UK, the NICE guidelines for irritable bowel syndrome actually recommend hypnotherapy for IBS after 12 months of non-effective pharmacological treatment. I mentioned earlier about the emotional aspects of irritable bowel syndrome. So what I'd like to do is give a very quick overview of how the emotional aspects of IBS do impact an individual's life. This isn't to say that IBS is all in the mind, it isn't. But this aspect of IBS is so important, all sufferers should really be aware of it. Imagine that we have an amount of energy that God gives us. We split it into 3. There's a core energy, a battery pack, and everything else we give out. This core pot of energy is designed to make sure that our heart beats, that we perspire, and all the other things that we do as human beings. But when we've got anything ongoing for any length of time, and IBS is ongoing for quite a lot of time for a lot of people, then what happens is the mind and body connection kicks in. This mind and body connection basically is a communication between the gut and the brain. Every thought we have creates a physical response. So before we even start the day, people that have irritable bowel syndrome, they will think about very often things about what sort of clothes they're going to wear, what happens if they get stuck in a traffic jam, what happens if they go shopping and there's no toilets in there. So very quickly, this emotional pot of energy starts to get depleted. We then get energy from what we'd normally keep for ourselves or for those that we love. So people that have IBS very often will find not only do they have to put up with the physical symptoms of IBS, but the emotional aspects as well. And those things can include lack of confidence and self-esteem, memory, recall, attention span, not as long or as sharp as you'd expect. Sleeping pattern can be affected, or the digestive issues can present themselves. Reproductive system can be affected. Sex life might not be as they want it to be. There may be times of intolerance. There may be times of weepiness. There may be times of, for goodness sake, just leave me alone. Motivation can go, and a whole raft of other things. The IBS audio program isn't simply just a set of CDs. Simplistically, it explains the mind and body connection, and that's explained in the introduction. And then there are 5 interlinked sessions. Each one is different, and each one is different because as we move on and progress through the therapy, just as we progress through life, then we change. So as the individual listens to the program, they're changing by taking on new information. There's also a listening schedule that actually helps people to optimize the benefits using a process that I call OPSIM, which is Ongoing Progressive Session Induction Method. In the accompanying booklet, there's also a symptom checklist so users can see and monitor their progress and mark their progress as they go along. With the program, there's also a complementary CD called the IBS Companion. The idea of the IBS Companion is it helps people to understand irritable bowel syndrome when they don't have it. And it's also useful for the IBS sufferer to give a copy to the families, to co-workers, to friends, because it can get really quite tiresome explaining the IBS condition to non-sufferers. I do have an IBS audio program for children called the IBS Audio Program 60. It's for irritable bowel syndrome and FAP, which is functional abdominal pain. They're just 2 programs that we've researched and studied and developed over the years. On the site of Healthy Audio, we have programs for anxiety, confidence and self-esteem, people that have lost their jobs, emotional renewal, emotional recovery after breast cancer, and many others. Those sufferers that do recognise some of the things that have been mentioned, then they should go to my website, which is healthyaudio.com, have a look at the IBS Audio Programme 100. There is lots more information on the site, and of course if they need any questions answered for them, then they can contact me or my associate in the US, and the contact details are there, and we'd be pleased to help where we can.